Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. It's France here. I'm here with my tax attorney, Ilya. And in this video, we're gonna explain how easy it is to start a Georgian company. I actually just finished registering my Georgian company, Project Influencers Capital here in Georgia. And I have to say, it was the easiest process ever. It took me roughly 2 days. The first day, I finished with the company registration. The second day, I finished with the bank account. So in 2 days, I have a Georgian company, an LLC, and I also have a bank account. So it's super easy to register our Georgian company. So in this video, I'm going to explain to you a detailed step-by-step process on what is required to register a Georgian company with my tax attorney here, Ilya. And we're just going to go through that and also the benefits and disadvantages on opening a Georgian company. All right, so before we get started, I would definitely appreciate it if you just give me a thumbs up below. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and also hit the notification bell so you get notified when I post my next video. All right, before we get started, I definitely want to introduce my tax attorney here, Ilya. Maybe tell us your, tell us your name, your background, what you did in the past. So what did you do before you started your business as a tax attorney here in Georgia?
Okay, thank you very much, Franz. Thank you for the introduction. I'm Ilya, I'm from Georgia, and I'm a tax consultant. I have worked in Georgian tax agency more than 10 years, and I now work as an independent tax consultant, helping foreign individuals or companies to invest in Georgia, to establish the companies, and to start and run their business in Georgia with confidence. So as Franz mentioned, he registered and started his business very fast in Georgia, and we helped him to register the company and to optimize the tax strategy for future activity. And I will discuss in more details how it's easy in Georgia to start and run business, and tax conditions, crypto activities, and also there are other activities which there is very low tax rates, and I will discuss it in detail.
Okay, so I do have some questions with Ilya. I already know the answer, but I want to share with you guys the information on my questions. So, my first question is, you mentioned that, in corporations, like, for example, for me, I'm starting a crypto corporation here in Georgia. I'm using Celsius Network, my broker, to start a crypto corporation. So you mentioned that for corporations, if I reinvest my staking income, my dividend income, I get paid zero taxes, right? So maybe explain to the viewers what the tax rate is normally, and then or what the tax rate is if you reinvest your dividends or your staking income. So there's a difference, right? So maybe explain what the difference is.
Okay. Georgia has very good and very favorable conditions, tax conditions for investment purposes. So from 2017, the tax legislation was changed, and in case the company gains income and net income and wants to reinvest this income for its future activities, if this company does not distribute this income as a dividend to its shareholders and reinvest its earnings, so there is no any tax according to Georgian tax legislation. So just the taxes are applicable when you are paying, so in general, the salaries or dividends. So in case of reinvestment of your earnings, the company doesn't have to pay taxes according to Georgian tax legislation. So I think it's very good for foreign investors to start their business here.
Okay, and then I do have one question. So you're saying if I reinvest my income, I pay zero tax. So what if I pay dividends? If I pay dividends to myself as the 100% owner of my company, how much tax do I pay if I pay myself dividends? If I don't reinvest, how much taxes do I pay? And then also talk about the tax treaty, maybe, or there's no tax treaty, but to prevent double taxation, because I'm an American citizen, so I pay U.S. taxes and then I'll pay Georgian taxes. So maybe explain to them once I pay myself a dividend, what I have to do in order to prevent double taxation, and then how much is the tax rate if I do pay myself a dividend.
Okay, so of course it depends on the company activity. In general, so the dividend tax in Georgia is 5%, and also there is a corporate income tax, so it's also called the profit tax, which is a 15%. So in total, if the company distributes dividend to its shareholders, the total sum of the tax rates is 20%. But as I mentioned, the Georgia has very good favorable conditions for crypto activities and also for IT companies, for example, in IT activities. For example, the Georgia offers special certificates. It's called International Company Certificate or a Virtual Zone Certificate, which is given to companies conducting the IT activities. And in this case, if they obtain the special tax certificate of IT company, they are free from corporate income tax or profit tax, which is 15%, and they will have just to pay 5%. So they will have to pay just 5% of dividend tax, which I think is very attractive for IT activities and IT companies. And that's why in Georgia many even the very famous IT companies has moved to Georgia and started their IT activities from Georgia. And even if you are providing your IT activity, IT service to not Georgian but to foreign companies, also this activity is free from also the VAT tax. So VAT tax in Georgia is in general it is 18%. Which IT companies, in case of providing this service to foreign companies, they don't have to pay. So there is just 5% dividend tax, and in case of salary payment, there is a salary tax, which is 20%.
20%,
so,
okay.
Yes.
So overall, guys, like the tax rate here in Georgia is fairly low, but can you maybe explain to the viewers how do we prevent double taxation? Because I'm a U.S. citizen, you know, I don't want to pay tax in Georgia and then pay tax in the U.S., so I only want to pay tax once. So what do we have to do to prevent double taxation? Because I only want to pay tax once.
Each case needs to go through details, but what I can say in general, so Georgia has many double taxation agreements with many countries, about 56 or 57 countries. U.S. citizens or for U.S. companies, it should be taxed in Georgia because we don't have a double tax avoidance agreement with the United States. But of course, in general, one income cannot be taxed 2 times, and in order to avoid double taxation in Georgia and the United States, the one way is to get the certificate from the Georgian tax agency about your tax payments and to declare this certificate to the Internal Revenue Service of United States, and based on this certificate, the United States Internal Revenue Service deducts this Georgian tax payment in United States. So with other European countries mainly, we have double tax avoidance agreement, and this taxation is regulated, which means that so looking into this agreement, you can see where it's clear, or maybe not clear in some agreements, but looking into this agreement, it's written where some specific type of incomes where it should be taxed in Georgia or in other country. Okay, so that's in general, but of course for more details, and it needs to go through in details and analysis is required, of course. But general, what can say is this.
Okay, yeah, for sure. So for each specific individual, there are different ways to do that. So like it's a case-by-case basis. So it's not a general answer to that question. So I definitely understand that. So one more thing that I remember is you told me about the capital that I invested. Like for example, I buy $100,000 worth of Bitcoin, and then I make interest on that. So let's say after year 1, it's $106,000. So I'm able to withdraw the $100,000, the original capital, with 0 taxation, right? So maybe you can explain that, the original invested capital what the taxation on that is.
Yes, of course, initial capital, the contribution of shareholders and this capital inserted by the shareholders to start their company. Once this capital generates the income in future, the same amount of this capital in company can be withdrawn without paying taxes. So if I insert about 1,000 USD to my company, Georgian company capital, I can get back this same amount in future without taxation. So the taxes are applicable in case on the extra amounts after 1,000 USD. So once I withdraw this 1,000 USD, my capital from the company, after that the company has to pay taxes on the next payment to its shareholders.
Nice. And I understand that, but there's no limit, right? Let's say I'm very rich and I put in 10 million USD original capital. I can withdraw the 10 million USD with, okay, so there's no limit.
No limit.
Wow, that's amazing, guys. All right, guys, so now that we've seen the advantages and disadvantages of opening a Georgian company, the final part of this video, I want to ask Ilya the step-by-step process on how to open a Georgian company. So like, what do we need? A passport? So give us the step-by-step process from beginning to end on how to open a Georgian company and show the subscribers how easy it is to open a Georgian company.
I represent the company INCG, which helps foreigners to establish their company in Georgia and start business in Georgia without confidence. We offer the whole guidance, business guidance in Georgia for foreigners. In order to start the process, first of all, it's important to make consultations with the incorporation expert and the tax expert in order to determine which type of legal entity will be best for your activity and what taxes will be applicable for you. And after that, we can start the process, which can be done remotely even, without visiting the country, without visiting the Georgia. And also it can be done by your visit to Georgia. Of course, it is better always to visit the Georgia in person and to make the registration with your presence in Georgia, because it is much easier comparing to doing it remotely, because in case of remotely, there is a power of attorney required to one of our Georgian incorporation expert, and this power of attorney must be apostilled or legalized depending on the country where this power of attorney is made. And after that, the incorporation expert on behalf of you, once we receive this document by the post, DHL, UPS or other courier, so we visit the registration agency in Georgia, which is done in a service public hall, which is done by the public service hall in Georgia, and we visit the registration agency on your behalf and register the company on your behalf. Of course, you have to fill the company data, what type of company you want, what will be your activity, what is the name of the company. We have a special questionnaire. You fill this questionnaire, and based on your given data, we register the company, and you can see the electronic certificate of company registration once it's made.
So for a remote company, do we just need a passport and power of attorney if we want to start a company remotely?
So we need the power of attorney, and we also need the copy of your passport.
Okay,
so both of
just two things.
yes, two things, and both of this document must be apostilled or legalized. So these are different processes. The apostille is much easier comparing to legalization. Another process which is much simpler.
Wait, one more question. So yes. If we register a company remotely, can we also register a company bank account with Tbilisi remotely?
It was possible previously, but became very hard to open the bank account remotely. So I can say that's even impossible. So okay. It's very hard to open bank account. Doing it remotely, almost impossible now. But in previous times, it was even possible. So if you want to fully establish a company and be business in Georgia, of course it is better to visit Georgia. And in one business day, in just one business day, you can register the company, and on the same day you can open the corporate bank account as well. So for this, it's required just your international passport with you. It's valid international passport. All other documents, of course, based on your data, your activity, and other information which we will request from you. We prepare these documents, and together we visit the registration agency, which I also mentioned is done in a public service hall in Georgia. And together we will visit the registration agency, and you can register the company in just one business day. So just for the same day registration, there is an extra fee. So even it's not, I think it's not expensive, which is 120 lari, Georgian lari. So approximately it's about 40 USD. And if you want to in case if you want the company registration to be done on the next business day, but if you want the company registration to be done on the same day, the agency fee is about 220 lari, 70 USD. So once the company registration is made, on the same day you can also make the tax agency registration of the company, and you can visit the desired bank here in Georgia and open the corporate bank account as well.
So by the way, guys, yeah, it was super easy process for me. I mean, for me, all I had to do was answer a few questions from Ilya and then provide my passport. And then he basically did all the work. So I just paid him legal fees and then he did all the work. I didn't even have to do anything myself. I basically showed up and he told me what to do and then it was done. So it took about 2 business days for me. I now have a company here in Georgia. I now have a Tbilisi corporate bank account here in Georgia, and I'm done. Super easy. I think that it was worth it for me. I can easily take advantage of all the Georgian taxation laws. And then you guys know, within 5 years, I plan to renounce and give up my U.S. citizenship. So this is basically a preparation for me to eventually give up my U.S. citizen. So, for those of you guys that are high net worth individuals, for those of you that have really large assets in cryptocurrencies, I'm not telling you to renounce your US citizenship, but definitely it is a consideration. I mean, for me, I'm still sort of 50-50. I haven't really decided on whether I'm gonna renounce or not, but for me, it's 50-50. And this is the first step you have to do. Like, you have to slowly start to move your assets outside of the United States. And for me, I trust Georgia as a country. I trust Georgia overall. So Georgia is going to be my first country that I move my assets to. And then who knows? The diversification, guys. I'll probably move my assets elsewhere. But Georgia is going to be my #1 country initially. And then later on, once I see other countries fit, I'll start to move assets elsewhere. Again, for those of you that are U.S. citizens that are planning to renounce eventually, once you start to hit those high net worth numbers, this is going to be the process of what you have to do to eventually renounce. You have to slowly start to move your assets away from the US. And also, if you're not a US citizen, you're freaking lucky. Because if you're from the UK, you're from Canada, you're from Australia, you can keep your passport. You can keep your passport and still open a Georgian company, and you'll be avoided from taxation. Because for you, as a UK resident, as a Canadian resident, or Australian resident, you only pay taxes when you live in the country. So for those of you guys that are not US citizen, you guys are lucky. You guys can open a Georgian bank account and you don't have to renounce your citizenship. So you guys are very lucky. Unlike me, a US citizen, I am not too lucky, but I'm proud of my country overall. But anyway, so for those of my subscribers that are interested in potentially opening a company here in Georgia based on your services, maybe I can give your email or maybe your website down in my description, link down below. And then maybe for my subscribers to tell, okay, if you guys give Project Influencers code on the email, if you guys tell Ilya that Project Influencers France sponsored you, maybe Ilya will give you a little discount, right?
Okay, thank you very much, Franz. So I'm very happy that you like our country and our business environment. The Georgia is ranked in the top 10 countries, ranked in top 10 countries, is by the simplest of doing business. I think that many of your subscribers will be interested after this video and will think about starting their business in Georgia, and of course we'll be happy to help them in everything they will need, from the initial consultation to the running to the business. And of course we will give your favorite subscribers special discounts. So for your subscribers, we give the special 20% discount, and just write us to the contact details given below. We will give the consultations, which is free with us, and that's all. I think this video was interesting, and I think that our country will be nice for you.
Wow. So again, Ilya, thank you so much for your help. That was a very smooth process. And yeah, free consultation, guys. So if you have any questions about starting a company here, he'll give you a free consultation. And then if you're ready, you can start your company. So again, 20% discount. That's very generous. So thank you for that. If you guys are interested, definitely hit up Ilya here. And again, thank you for your services. And I'm looking forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you very much.
All right, that's it.